How's it going, everybody? Hope you're having a great Saturday afternoon, late afternoon, early evening. It's your host, Sports Moose, here with the Thunderdome Puckcast. Still coming off the incredible high of this big Game 4 victory. Lightning, of course, coming out on top 6-4 against the Carolina Hurricanes in what required somewhat epic comeback. Bolts down 2 in the second. Absolutely bananas. 8-goal period. The second period. Both Carolina and the Lightning, 4 goals aside. So after all was said and done of those crazy 20 minutes, was still 5-4 Lightning heading into the third period. Of course, Lightning going down 4-2 at one point in that game. Down 2 separate times. I think it went down 2-1. 2-1, tied it up 2-2, and then went down 2 pretty quickly. Some pretty shoddy defensive play in the second period. First period was awesome. Great effort. Pressure on the Hurricanes. Had them on their heels more than a few times. Probably should have been 3-0. Couple hit posts and crossbars. The story of the game, though, is always the power play. You know, a Lightning fan, I'm here trying to advise our Carolina Hurricanes and whoever else we're going to play down the stretch run as we defend the cup. Don't put us on the power play. Just asking. Don't put us on the power play. I think the officiating was fairly fair today. And still missed calls here and there. Now they're trying to let the boys play. So I think from a Carolina perspective, you missed calls in the final 2 or 3 minutes. I think that I wouldn't have been mad if they put Carolina in the power play. A couple hooks. I think there's a missed trip. So, again, I think the Lightning deserved to win this game by far, especially moxie there. And there's no other way to say it. Absolute epic effort in the second. Bassey not having his greatest game, but that's what you have. So the second-ranked offense, or the first-ranked offense, or whatever we ended up being, second behind Colorado, of course. So definitely in the playoffs, regular season, second or third in goals for. That's what you have to have them for. For those days where you're going to give up 4 goals, the offense's job to find a way to score 5. That's exactly what happened tonight. For those of you guys new, streaming for the first time, welcome, of course. You can always find us here, multi-streaming now. YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitch as well. Kind of new for us on Twitch. Feel free to comment, and we'll interact as much as we can as we go through the Thunderdome Puckcast post-game show. I've been saying it forever, but now that the Bolts have now a 2-game break, I'll probably be able to do a standard Thunderdome Puckcast episode tomorrow, probably morning or afternoon, and we'll talk about the other series. Not only will recap the first round series pretty quickly, a couple surprises there. We got a few of those wrong, but we want to talk about where we're at in the second series. Definitely some surprises. You had Montreal leading 2-0. First of all, if you had Montreal making it into the second round and then leading the Winnipeg Jets of all teams 2-0, probably could have won some money by now. So we'll see how far Montreal can go. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Let's talk about this game tonight. Let's pull up the stats, of course. And a lot to talk about and unravel in the second period. Lots to talk about and unravel here. But most part, really the first period was just Braden Point's goal. Just kind of a tic-tac-toe play there as well. I mean, it was beautiful. Just zone penetration. I mean, the Bolts zinging it around. I remember that with Chernak to Palat. And Palat really a pin-perfect pass to Braden Point, who it was more of a shot pass, if you could describe it in any way. But basically to the edge of the crease, Peter Mrazek thought it was going to be a pass. It was ready for a shot. Was surprised it was kind of a shot pass, easy tap in for Braden Point, 1-0, 14 minutes into the first period. Or then, and even after then, lots of pressure. Point seventh in the playoffs, seventh goal for Point. Again, Lightning probably should have been up 2-3 at some point in that first and even early into the second. But it's when I think momentum started to change a little bit. Kind of a tough goal given up. Teravainen getting into the action. Then 40 seconds later, Jesper Fast getting his first goal of the playoffs. I think the commentators were saying how it was like first goal in forever in the playoffs for him. I think he made a few appearances for the Rangers back when he was the Rangers. Last time the Rangers, I guess, made the playoffs. They were going on their Stanley Cup runs, or at least their deep playoff runs. So all of a sudden it's 2-1, 5 minutes into the second period. You know, you're like, okay, well, we still have this game under control. Lightning get a power play. Stamkos from this was kind of the bonkers play. Nice way to tie it. And I think Lawrence set up or Point set up Kaloran really nicely. Kind of a shot off the crossbar. Mrazek was scrambling around, wide open net. Puck ends up going to Steve. If you know where the office is, puck ends up going to Stamkos' office right in the circles and laser a wide open net. All of a sudden it's 2-2. Again, 40 seconds later, Bolts give up kind of a backbreaker, Dougie Hamilton. And then like a minute and a half after that, Jacob Slavin gets one, kind of a seeing eye puck that gets through, and it's 4-2. By then, I was stuffing wedding envelopes or wedding invites. I'm going nuts. Like, what is going on? Defense, again, for kind of like from the 5-minute to the 15-minute period in the second period, Lightning defense looked absolutely like garbage. Cassie looked subpar for most of the game. Good enough on most plays, but I think that period, couple goals, couple softies, couple goals he'd want back. I think, again, the Lightning getting a little bit fortunate on the, and you can't be mad as a Carolina fan. I mean, some of these were obvious penalties, especially after that first penalty where blatant high stick, borderline drew blood, but this, they decided in the first period no power play for the Lightning. Kucherov getting one. Oh, when was this one? Was this one? I think Kuch's second one was awesome. Was kind of off the break. Wasn't shorthanded quite yet. But a big goal for Kucherov. Then most exciting, Tyler Johnson sighting. Great goal. Assist from Maroon and Colton. I actually love that fourth line. You know, we were talking about how we miss Paquette a little bit. I don't know if Colton has the grime and the pest that Paquette was, but I think he's a better offensive player, and we're seeing the mesh really well. The big body, and kind of gotta love what you've seen Tyler Johnson being that unexpected quick step there. Kind of what you got with Matthew Joseph. You know, I think Tyler Johnson getting the nod for Joseph because of experience, maybe. I don't quite know, but he's been effective. You know, obviously not producing the way he was 5 years ago, in the Hawks series or in those early John Cooper playoff runs, but it's been great to be able to get some motivation and some productivity out of Tyler Johnson. Of course, a game time goal there, totally unexpected for Johnson. A couple minutes later, Stamkos once again from the power play, on the power play, take that lead. 23 seconds left to go in the second period to cap off an 4 goals for each team. So essentially, let's pretend it didn't happen. 1-0 heading into the third period, right? And that's really, the game kind of stabilized. I think both teams had some decent chances. But again, really impressed with the Lightning shot block ability, being in the right place at the right time, limiting those high danger scoring chances, especially in the third period. And Kucherov, great play by Palat at the blue line. I think, was it around when Carolina may have been getting off a power play? I'm not sure. I know there was a horrendous turnover again. Bassey, kind of a tough night, kind of getting the puck into the middle of the zone, trying to clear the puck. Ended up on a Carolina stick. Palat poking it away, and a little bit of a 2-on-1 rush with Kucherov, 5-hole, beating Peter Mrazek. All right, look at some of these stats here. Shots on goal ended up being pretty even. I think Carolina had a handful there at the last 2 minutes with the advantage, 6-on-5 with the goaltender pulled. We've been harping on the face-off. Face-offs, 58-42 here percentage-wise, and they've been owning us in the face-off circle. It hasn't come to, well, actually I would say it came to bite us the last game. May have cost us in overtime, but gotta take a little bit more ownership in the playoffs in the face-off circle. I think AJ Malesko even made a kind of a throwing some shade of like a rare win in the face-off circle for Stamkos. I'm curious, look at Stamkos' face-off numbers here. Johnson, who's usually been our face-off guy, right? 33%. Yeah, Stamkos actually are one of our better face-off guys here. But a lot of others, Rain Point at 45%, scored. Plot probably just taking the one face-off and winning it. So we got to get back to winning face-off. So important to establish that possession. We kind of we'll see that in some of the stats where, well, it looked like the Lightning owned the game. Carolina was able to have possession. They were winning puck battles. They were winning face-offs. So probably a closer game than it should have been. 0 for 2. I think difference of the game's right here. 3 for 6 for the Bolts. 0 for 2 in the power play for Carolina. Lightning like fairly disciplined, but again, trying to be as unbiased as possible. I really feel that there are a few missed calls in Carolina's favor. Carolina probably should have 2 more power plays, and definitely at least one when they were trying to even up the score with 2 minutes left to go. The goalie pulled. I think the game pretty much has been cleaned up. Carolina, I thought for the most part played pretty neat game, maybe a little bit undisciplined, but one giveaway. You remember the big 23 spot, like in game 1 or game 2, and then block shots 10-7 in favor of the Lightning. You saw a few of those at the end of the game. Carolina was pressing. Of course, hopping over to our friends Natural Stat Trick and see your Corsi and Fenwick statistics. Pretty much dead even in terms of puck possession and control of the game. The lines I think are going to show it's skewing in the favor of the Lightning because I think there's just such heavy possession and quality of possession numbers for bigger periods for the Lightning. But I think there were some shifts, especially those 10 minutes in the second period where it was just kind of Carolina was really pushing. You saw some of those numbers shift. Again, shots for and against, basically pretty even. Only 4 for the Lightning in the third period. Still, I think they did a good job at pressing and getting offense when they could. And then scoring chances, Lightning, quite a few more, but the high danger ones, again, getting pretty there, 13-10. Thought this was the thing. Expected goals for with what the Lightning had. And again, this is pretty sure we're looking at all situations. 286 for the Lightning. So from an offensive standpoint and possession numbers, they overperformed. I think Mazarek had a few that he probably should have given back or would want back. Goals against 4, Bassey given up right at 4. So kind of weird that lined up there with goals against a 4. And I guess the way Bassey's played in terms of possession, the data suggesting Lightning should have given up 4. So I thought that was interesting. Of course, our game flow in all situations. Lightning pretty heavy in the first period, 2 power plays, 3 in a row here. I actually thought this third power play I think this started to shift the momentum of the game because Carolina having to kill 3 in a row. This really shifted momentum. They scored 2 quick goals. Then they get a power play. Luckily, Lightning were able to kill it off. Kind of get that goal in the power play from, I believe, Stamkos off the, it was Stamkos off the crazy deflection off the crossbar. And then 2 quick ones for Carolina, and they're off to the races here in the middle section of the second period. And the Lightning kind of fighting their way back. Game stays a little bit even. And then, of course, the last 2 minutes where Carolina is able to shift back the balance of the game. Heat map, of course, a lot of hot zone area here. The Lightning in front of the net. Thought they were able to get pretty good penetration into the zone, not out in the periphery like usual. I think the Lightning did a good job blocking shots and keeping Carolina out of the main scoring areas. They did get up to 10 high danger scoring areas, so we'll have to wait and see if that works, if they're able to improve that heading into game number 5 in Carolina. Get a nice break here. See if we can hop back over. Closes out here. The Lightning get 2 days of rest finally. I think first period of rest since closing out the Panthers. They had 4 or 5 days off there for the Carolina series. Tuesday night, it's 6:30 NBCSN. Finally getting the promotion from USA Network. I still think it's Bolts in 6. Better believe there's going to be incredible pressure. That crowd in Raleigh has been lights out. Tough place to play, tough barn. Been there. That's a loud place. But, Vasi doesn't, what the Lightning have going for him is Vasi very rarely has 2 bad games in a row. Sure, he'd be the first one to say this was not a good game. So it's going to be another tight one. Probably bet the under. Maybe it's time to bring back $10 sports for these last final hockey matchups. Probably got to take the under in that one. I want to say the Bolts are going to win this one. I don't know. I just taking Carolina out in 5. That's a series we're looking forward to, especially Carolina playing well heading into the playoffs. So like Bolts in 6, bringing it back to Tampa. And then, of course, awaiting the winner of the Boston, New York Islanders series, which has been absolutely awesome to watch. Of course, I think they're taking the ice tonight in Long Island, right? On Long Island. Tonight, game 4. Boston right now leading 2-1. Got to be rooting for the Islanders here. I'd love to see another match, a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference Finals. Though, would be nice to go through Boston, right? Didn't get to play them at all this year with the divisions being split up. So it'd be nice to see our friends in Boston once again for a chance to play for the Cup. I don't know what they're going to call the Final Four here. I think like Frozen Four is trademarked by the NCAA. Imagine the Final Four is as well. I guess Stanley Cup semifinals this year. Lightning and the winner of Boston and New York, should the Lightning pull it off here in the next 3 games. That's been it for your post-game show, Game 4. See you for Game 5. Probably do third period game watch. Make sure you're following us either on Twitter, YouTube, or on Facebook at Sports Moose Show on Twitter. And the Sports Moose is how you can find us on our other social networks. Been the Sports Moose here with Thunderdome Puckcast. We'll see you next time here. Latest in Lightning news. Take care.